Teachers with fake documents deregistered. Parties to Papua LNG settle after 2-year delay. And PNG ready to improve police capacity.
This is National MTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Wednesday's news. The Education Department has revealed major flaws in the teacher training and education system. Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra said investigations found 600 graduates while awaiting certificates have entered teacher training illegally. Meanwhile, 620 elementary teachers have been deregistered following reports they used fake documents to get into teaching.
Over 600 students have entered teacher training illegally. Secretary for Education Dr. Uke Kombra during a news conference said students will be affected in the future if teachers continue this unlawful act.
When we have a teacher who is not fit and proper in front of a classroom teaching our students will be affected in the future.
Entry GPA for teacher training was 1.8 in 2017 and have been moved up to 2.4 in 2019. From the 600 plus graduates, 153 will still receive their certificates as they have scored 1.8 GPA and above. However, the rest will not be certified because of the fraudulent documents and thus not meeting the required GPA. We have approved, out of the 609 graduates in 2019, we have approved 153 of them to receive their certificates. And that when they get the certificates, they will also get their teacher registrations. 153 of them. 70 from Medang Teachers College, 68 from Balop, and 15 from Dowley. Those below the GPA of 1.8, 17 from Medang, Sacred Heart 4, Balop 42, Enga 4, Simpu 66, a total of 133. They have been registered, they have been enrolled from outside the process, but they have also not met the minimum GPA of 1.8. We have refused to give them certificates and teacher registrations. Balop Teachers College principal was suspended and the Education Department says it will look into other schools as well to eradicate corruption in the education system and to ensure students follow right procedures to enroll. Education Department has begun deregistering teachers for fraudulent enrollments and forging documents. A total of 620 elementary teachers in the country have been deregistered from teaching.
It is criminal. There is a section in the law that, I don't know, in one of my circulars I did quote that section where it states that it's illegal. Sorry, that's the Criminal Code Act, Section 462, where it says that if you fraudulently or deface a document, then you can be criminally charged.
The Education Department has already screened elementary teachers and will continue with primary and secondary as well. The Department of Education says it will continue to take tougher stance on teacher recruitment and training. This is done to safeguard the education of the next generations of PNG. Esther Thailam, National MTV News.
Like many parents throughout the country, those in the rural areas are also struggling to pay for school fees. A parent in Green River will be paying a total of 2,100 kina for her 3 children. Noreen Fanio is not complaining, but wants the district to support their women's group with only a car so they can be self-sufficient, seeking avenues to make money.
Noreen Fanio is the women's rep for the Green River LLG. This year, she will be paying a total of 2,100 kina for her 3 children's school fees. Her eldest daughter is doing grade 11 at Green River Secondary School as a boarding student. The school is asking parents to pay 1,800 kina for grades 11 and 12 and 1,400 kina for grades 9 and 10.
I'm hard. Me pesa struggle, mama me pesa struggle la pani we la karamo something walk about long road go place to place la pani is like an amount of money la giving la school fee la beginning.
Over the weekend, she managed to sell some betel nut and smoked fish at the village near the transit point at Waradio. She had to walk about 2 hours to get there. This is where vehicles from Vanimo stop and passengers get off and onto dugout canoes to cross the river to Green River Station. Likewise for people travelling from the station to Vanimo. With the taking she got, on Monday she took her daughter to Green River Secondary School, paid 500 kina and enrolled her. She also paid 150 kina for her 2 children, promising the schools that she will pay the fees in installments until she completes the full fees.
Pani money long harap give me hardly long me plus because me plaka to ping the primary school, na me plaka to ping the elementary too. Na cost of payment for ping the primary and elementary too amount of the na.
Noreen hasn't complained one bit about paying 2,000 kina plus, but she wants the district to help the mothers with the vehicle. As the women's rep in the district, she is calling on the return of a vehicle that the district had bought. According to her, the local MP had bought a vehicle for the women's office, but a particular community leader is using the vehicle for private use. She now wants the district to intervene.
Magat me blol mama me blol instead of green river so less me or someone must marry blol me muslim. Ogata pundan kira blol school fee blol pingin money masa karimol heavy. Or papa sa putin better and plan me like a member blol mat looks ala some we can help me along. Transport us blol black and kiss musan blol or town or market or colombato pages me blog market na.
It is a different case for those parents living 3 or more hours away from Green River Station. Head teacher of Dio Primary School, Bradley Nomben, said they want the government to pay full school fees. He said even the 37% component is difficult to obtain by parents in this part of the country, so they don't force the parents to pay the fees up front. Without the funds, the school continues to teach without teachers' guides, a syllabus for each grade, and no textbooks and other teaching materials.
We are using our brains to teach the children in any way to suit the needs of the children so that teaching and learning is taking place during the day.
Member for Vanimo Green and opposition leader Belden Nama said they are committed to subsidizing school fees for schools in his district, but the sad thing is the district doesn't receive its full district services improvement program or DSIP funds. He said last year they only got 3 million kina of the total DSIP. Nama said towards the end of the year, when all other districts got 2 million kina each, his district didn't receive anything. This has put strain on commitments in the district like education. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
A fiscal stability agreement between the PNG government and the Papua LNG project co-venturers was signed yesterday at a packed government house, giving full effect to the Papua LNG gas agreement signed in April 2019. After almost 2 years of delay, mainly due to negotiation between the concerned parties in trying to agree on the best deal for the project, Petroleum Minister Karen Gakua signed instruments paving the way forward for developer Total and partners ExxonMobil and Oil Search.
This significant agreement signing paves the way for front-end engineering and design to come into play, with the construction phase to follow suit. Whilst the actual cost of the project is not known at this point in time, Prime Minister James Marape made an estimate of $12 billion for the cost of the project. After 22 months of delay, the Fiscal Stability Agreement for Papua LNG project was finally going to have pen put to paper. In a brief press conference that followed soon after the signing ceremony, Petroleum Minister Karen Gakua explained that the delay has been due mainly to deciding the best way forward for the project, given that the Piniang project was also linked to it. The Papua LNG project is one of the key projects recently mentioned by Prime Minister James Marape as an economic indicator for the country.
It was felt that we should delink the two projects Papua, because it's a fully executed agreement, is capable of proceeding as a standalone project, and Pyongyang can follow its own pace after this event. So that was the reason why it took 22 months for us to comprehensively explore the prospects of whether we could do the two projects together. But we've made some pretty good progress in that line of thinking, but we couldn't wait any further. So I think I'm grateful to our joint venture partners, our developers, for agreeing that we can delink the two projects so that Papua can go ahead.
Minister Kua acknowledged the joint venture partners of the project, Total, ExxonMobil and Oil Search, for coming to an agreement with the government. The petroleum minister said the fiscal stability agreement signing provides confidence for stakeholders in the project.
We will now activate Papua with the signing of the fiscal stability arrangement. The document that we have signed today guarantees the protection of the fiscal arrangement, the cost of construction, the tax regime, and all those things are stabilized. So it gives certainty to project planning and project execution.
Papua LNG in the detachment from Pyongyang will see 2 trains constructed, and these 2 trains contributing on top of PNG LNG's 2 train will mean when the 2 trains of Papua LNG are in production, we will be a 4-train LNG producing nation with additional capacity in the reserves that we have in our country, including Pyongyang resource.
With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and adverse global economic impacts on Papua New Guinea, Minister Kua says the fiscal stability agreement signing will provide a positive signal to investors and help in PNG's economic recovery. Prime Minister James Marape assured the nation last week at the Back to Business breakfast, promising major announcements on key resource projects in the first quarter of this year. The fiscal stability agreement signing for Papua LNG project hopes to provide confidence for the business community, with other major resource project announcements anticipated. Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
Morobe provincial government has demanded the national government to withdraw Wafi Golpu mine environmental permit that was signed by Environment Minister in December last year. This follows a public forum today on No to DSTP following a consultative meeting 2 weeks ago. The provincial government and the landowners have also demanded the national government and the developer to present the local content plan for the people of Morobe. We'll have more on this story in tomorrow's news bulletin. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll have more of the day's stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Police Minister William Onglo says the department is prepared to assist improve police capacity in the autonomous region of Bougainville. Onglo says this is part of the national government's intention, as concluded by the recent joint supervisory body meeting in Arawa. The police minister says he will be making another trip with Police Commissioner David Manning to liaise with police personnel in Bougainville.
Speaking in Aropa recently, the police minister says policing is a major issue in the country. He says for Arab, special consideration will be given by the national government. He says specific improvements within the region's police capacity will be considered,
including logistics, and they have a lot to do in terms of water policing. There's a lot of traffic. We really have to step in our system in a way we can do that's best, so that at least in a couple of years' time they can be fully empowered and operational.
Adding on, the police minister briefly mentioned that he will be returning to Bougainville with high-ranking officials, including the police commissioner David Manning. He says more dialogue between the department and Arab police officials will see all sectors in the police force improve its capacity to operate. Minister Onglo says this is part of the national government's plan as it works towards decentralizing powers to Arab.
And from there, what we probably look at is try to beef up more training, which we haven't done for a while. We're also trying to do a massive recruit. We're looking at the facility to have in order for the training facilities. And once it's done, we'll give special consideration to Bougainville.
Meanwhile, the police minister says the police department is also on the verge of improving and empowering policing in the country. Onglo says first priority is to target hotspot provinces and deploy manpower to maintain order.
We're trying to create a special zone with policing in special zone in the areas of the islands. In that way, we want to also beef up the police number in these areas. We will be doing some recruiting, but try to get the senior police around the country into this area and get the recruits into lower risk areas. But I'm pretty sure that we will plan together. It's just a mindset of our people and more awareness in our leaders' participation.
Jack Lapawe Jr., National EMTV News.
The completion of the new Waigani Court complex is facing a slow turnaround time in completion due to funding that is supposedly trickling down from Treasury and National Planning. Despite one being completed and already ready for occupancy, PNG's Chief Justice Sir Gibbs Salika is adamant that funding be allocated quickly so plans for occupancy can begin. Annette Cora reports.
The slow dispensing of funds has seen construction slow down for the new court complex in Waigani. The appropriation for last year was 70 million kina, and this has seen only the completion of one wing of the complex.
For this year, it will also depend on money, finance. This year, the appropriation that we've been allocated, we can call it paper money, is 70 million. Last year, we also got 70 million. And this year we are getting 70 million again. The plan is that July, August, part of the administration will move into the left wing of the building. That is the left side of the building, the new building. Hopefully by June, July, August, that part will be completed with the current funding that we have.
The incomplete wing will now need adequate funding to see through the completion of the whole complex.
The funding for the other right side of the building, well, we will need enough money for work to continue there, for the finishing of the courtrooms there and the finishing of the judges' chambers there in the right side of the building.
With Judiciary's plan, the Chief Justice is hopeful that the whole complex be completed by the end of the year.
If they give us the money right up front, then we can manage the money on a monthly basis or whatever basis. We can give the money 10 million kina or 20 million kina to the contractors. Finish this part of it with this money.
Further highlighting yet again a challenge that contractors of the complex face, adding to the list of reasons of the slow turnaround time of the completion.
One of the contractors' main challenges, there are very expensive equipment that is not available from Australia or New Zealand. They've got to get it from Europe or Canada or USA to bring those equipment here to put into the building. And so you need a big lead time for those equipments to be bought, expensive equipments to be bought, so that they can be brought and installed in the building.
Annette Cora, National EMTV News.
Papua New Guinea's international corruption rating has slipped a further 1 point from 28 down to 27 in the latest figures released by Transparency International. Act Now campaign manager Eddie Tanago says this is bad news for the PNG economy and a sad reflection on the state of PNG's democracy.
According to Act Now PNG, research shows that a 1 point drop in PNG's corruption score will on average cost the nation over 10 billion kina in economic growth. Before the latest figures, PNG was already the worst ranked country for corruption in the Asia-Pacific region and has now slipped a further 5 places to be 142nd in the world. PNG sits alongside Uganda and Angola in the ranking and below countries like Liberia, Myanmar and Paraguay. PNG is ranked 64 places lower than the Solomon Islands, 40 places lower than Indonesia, and 27 places below Philippines. ECNOW says PNG's continuing decline in the annual ranking reflects the fact that while the government talks up its corruption fight, Papua New Guinea is yet to see any results in terms of corrupt deals reversed or successful prosecutions.
ICAC office established is really encouraging and it's a move, a step in the right direction by the government. All we just hope for is that it is not just another expensive office that has been set up. Corruption is still flourishing and all we need is people put behind bars. We had outstanding issues like the APEC expenditures. We had so much money being spent on APEC, hosting APEC, but we are yet to see any audit reports come out. We have the Manu Manu land deal that's also been swept under the carpet and people who've been named under this scandal are still holding on to public office and in various other big offices as well.
For PNG, with a population of over 8 million, this is equivalent to $3 billion or 10 billion kina. The cost of corruption, though, are not just economic. ACT now discusses that corruption erodes democracy by undermining the effectiveness of government departments, service delivery and accountability. It undermines people's trust in the political system, in its institutions and its leadership. It also leads to environmental degradation and land grabbing. ACT now is urging the government to introduce a full suite measures to improve government transparency and accountability as outlined in its policy proposals. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
A village at Mount Kuta outside Mount Hagen City has been declared open defecation free by the UNICEF's Water and Sanitation Hygiene Program. The Kopi tribe in Western Highlands Province has undergone training by Care International and UNICEF to have a clean community. This is a story about inclusivity, that is, the young and old understanding the importance of having a clean toilet and a healthy environment to live in.
It was through the hard work of two female teachers at Mount Kuta Elementary School outside Mount Hagen City who got the community involved. They started the hygiene club to involve women in the community to participate in a cleanup program. After attending a hygiene workshop facilitated by Care International, the community became engaged and this Kopi tribe launched the Cleanpla Community Project.
Na toilet place now em past them mi plus open him lead na lusim now em lead mi plus a pass mi plus a straight him seat blow fire lo side get curtain toilet finish mi plus a stroma seat blow fire go down na mi plus a wasiman mi plus activity long lo toilet get soap long upset.
Under the EU and UNICEF's funded Cleanpla Community Project and WASH program, they were able to build clean and safe toilets using the readily available materials. The communities were also trained to be healthy and hygiene-wise by not defecating anywhere in nearby bushes or at the riverside. This is to stop non-communicable diseases.
I am humbled to be witness to your change, and I am very happy and very proud to witness your future.
The program is a prevention and control measure for improving health, reducing poverty, and improving socio-economic development, as well as responding to global emergencies and outbreaks of life-threatening illnesses. 4 districts in PNG were selected to pilot this project, funded by EU, UNICEF and the PNG government, with Care International as the implementing agency.
So 4 district, all trial them out, all picking 50 plus school, 200 plus community in a 9 health center. So people work. All putting money or selling come na people work.
It also includes 800 feeder communities where the students come from, and 9 health centers in the selected districts will benefit. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Cathay Club Inc. performed a sneak peek of the Chinese New Year celebrations today at the BSP downtown branch. They performed a new act called Poles or Jongs in Chinese. The exact New Year's Day celebration will be on Friday.
This year is the first time the Cathay Club are performing the Jongs, a lion dance in PNG. The lion dance is a traditional Chinese dance performed on big occasions such as the Spring Festival for good luck, as it is believed that the lion is an auspicious animal. Representing the Cathay Club under the Chinese community in PNG, the Jong Jumpers team leader Piang and a Jong Jumper expressed what it means to celebrate the New Year in PNG.
So Chinese New Year for us, obviously it's celebrating a new year in the Chinese culture, but for us here in Port Moresby, I guess we want to share that knowledge and share that celebration with the community. I guess, being here and living in Port Moresby and Papua New Guinea means home to us, so I guess it's sharing that with the rest of the country and able to celebrate together with Papua New Guinea.
It's like a different culture for the different country, but being part of it is very awesome. Try to learn some different culture and different dancing.
Chinese New Year, also known as Lunar New Year or Spring Festival, is China's most important festival. It falls on Friday, February 12, beginning a year of the ox. The New Year is determined by the lunar calendar. Thus, each time the New Year falls on different dates of the Gregorian calendar between January 21st and February 20th. In the Chinese culture, the lion symbolizes power, wisdom, and superiority. People perform lion dances at Chinese festivals to bring good fortune and chase away evil spirits.
It's more of just scaring away the spirits of wishing the new clients and new shops and the restaurants a bit of luck, scaring away the demons and throwing a bit of good luck to them for the new year coming.
The Chinese community have started their New Year's celebrations today and will continue until Friday the 12th, the exact day on which the New Year falls. The event will be held at Alabai Harbour City in Port Moresby. Gertrude Gabi, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NAS Fund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3540 Australian dollars, $0.3792 New Zealand dollars, and 28.36 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and cocoa closed lower, copper closed higher. Palm oil and copper closed higher, crude oil is trading higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. Trukai Sports is next. Details after these messages.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Apart from the converted gold passes issued by the Ipatas Cup Challenge, there are also Mercy passes issued as wildcard entries into the final stages of the competition. 3 teams have received Mercy passes from the Ipatas competition management as a gift for loyalty and hard work.
Competition manager of the Ipatas Cup Challenge, Sam Koi, using his discretion, has rewarded 3 teams with Mercy passes for the Eastern End Challenge in Lae next week. Kendall Tarangau from Yalibu and O1 Titans from Oburo Waninara took part in the Lae Challenge and were rewarded with Mercy passes. Also, despite not taking part in the Ipatas Cup, NCD team Border Storms have been issued a Mercy pass for the Eastern End Challenge in Lae as well.
Just bending our laws of eligibility for gold passes and playoffs. It's mainly because of the COVID pandemic. We couldn't have we've got, like, normally we have over 36 teams just in NCD and Central. And for this year, we've had calls, we've had requests, but, we just couldn't do much. It's beyond our control with the pandemic. So Border Storms, to their credit, they've been asking us since last year that they wanted to come.
Koi added that the Border Storms have met all requirements to travel.
To confirm your participation, I need 21 tickets paid off. That was my condition, and they did. They paid, and they fulfilled their side of the agreement, and I have no hesitation, and I'm actually proud that they're actually going to represent NCD to take part in our Eastern Finals.
Koi clarified that Messi passes have always been issued in the past.
There's always been Messi passes being used, so teams have to be traveling outside of the area of play or where they reside to actually be eligible for Messi passes. These teams, they've just not formed overnight. They've been with us for a long time, participating, and we reward them accordingly.
Border Storms have been a consistent entry into the Ipatas Cup and the Governors Cup Challenge in NCD. Team manager Tony Wani said, despite the NCD leg of the Ipatas Cup being cancelled due to COVID-19 restrictions, the team had been looking for an opportunity to make it back into the biggest off-season rugby league competition.
So this year, COVID-19, them all suspended him. Kokola Ipatas Cup, NCDC, Southern Region, suspended him. So me got interest, take part na. Me asked him, Kokola Ipatas, or chairman, or board na. Same comment to me, all right, me can take part na. Me got big mamas.
The team's patron Rita Wani, affectionately referred to as Mama Rita, she says it has been a mission for her. Despite negative criticism of her involvement in rugby league, she says the team has been providing player pathways into the Digital Cup and the SPPNG Hunters.
To plan about play lo Hunters, like Judah Rimbuna, Jeffrey Robert. 3 years so now I'm only go hurry up through fast. So misa one day lo disla mino sa gisim 1 plus something tasol em plan is atok backside to disla labun mama ya em sa suicide nadin lo game number run na em sa gisim wana kan kai em sa gisim lo game mo no kat minin lo kenya em sa wasting time blame stop tasol me looking mo sem walk missing to em disla.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
It's the news. Papua New Guinea's sporting community has been waiting on whether the PNG Games will go ahead or not, considering the onset of COVID-19 amongst other issues. Kilawani with an update from the organisers.
First week, second week, and the full 2 week sports.
The biggest biannual national sporting event that unites the 22 provinces of Papua New Guinea, the PNG Games, is set to take place between November and December this year. 2 optional dates have been put forward for both HOC, or Hosts Organising Committee of Southern Highlands, and PNG Games Council to consider.
There are 2 dates quite optional at this moment. The first date preferred was 13 November to 28. And the second option was 21st November to the 5th of December.
With 19 different sports, including athletics, basketball, boxing, among others, per tradition since the game's inception in 2003, provinces are expected to work closely with the organizing team as tentative dates for entry requirements have been set.
Our deadline, as stated tentatively, was 2nd of April 2021. Entry by name deadlines was 30th of July 2021. Accreditation or registration is 31st of August.
Given less than 9 months to prepare for the biggest sporting event in the country, events coordinator Thomas Kahai believes they can pull through.
And we'll put all that through our timeline and try and meet our timeline in terms of our preparation. So it's a task, but we need to work together and achieve that.
As preparations continue, a marketing team under Mary Nauga calls out to corporate houses for support.
A shout out to all the corporate sponsors out there. I know COVID's been has really affected a lot of businesses right now, but please get behind our teams, get behind the technical officials. These are athletes coming from rural villages, and it's difficult for them to afford.
Adding it was the PNG Games that a talent such as the current sprint queen Toya Whistle surfaced, making headlines for Papua New Guinea at national and international levels.
Toya Whistle came out from the first first PNG Games, and that's the kind of product that the games can provide. And we are also looking for the next also. So please help us look for that.
Another major concern that surfaces for many is the issue on security. The director of the Games gives assurance that security is taken care of.
Give assurance to Papua New Guinea that Southern Highlands is treating security at one of the highest priority to ensure that the mobilization of teams into Southern Highlands is risk-free, they enjoy, and they come up with lots of memory towards the end.
With a daunting task ahead for the small yet capable organizing team, the 8th PNG Games is believed to expose more sporting heroes for Papua New Guinea and accomplish its mission to promoting and developing national unity through participation in sports. Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
And Trukai Sports continues with more after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Papua New Guinea Olympics Committee has a number of events as per the 2021 calendar. Secretary General Alvita Rapila gives an outline of their key events.
We have the Tokyo Olympics that's happening on the 23rd of July to the 8th of August. And apart from the Olympics, we've got all our other events with the SP Sports Awards will be on this year. The organising committee will be making announcements as to how the event and when the event will take place. The Trukai Fun Run, we are in discussions with Trukai on how this event will look. The announcements will be made once we have confirmed with Trukai Industries. We also have our other events, the Prime Minister's Corporate Golf Challenges as part of our fundraising for Team PNG. And we've got our programs of the Oceania Sport Education programs that will be delivered in the 4 regions. But the significant milestone for us this year is our 60th anniversary. So the Papua New Guinea Olympic Committee, we will be celebrating 60 years, and we're looking at having that taking place at the end of August after the Olympic Games.
With the 2021 Tokyo Olympics set to go ahead in July this year, Team PNG currently has only 2 qualified athletes who are from the Code of Sailing. Team PNG chef de mission Tamsin Wardley caught up with EMTV Sports Scene's Dini Rose Raiko and gave an update.
It's a very, very challenging year, as everybody knows. So we've been preparing this team now for nearly 2 years. And yes, we're getting very, very close to the opening ceremony date in July. And yet there's still so many unknowns. So the team is still trying to qualify. We've got 29 athletes out there across 10 sports trying to get through the qualification process. As you know, most of our athletes are now back here in PNG. But of course, the final qualification competitions are elsewhere in the world. And they really are spread across the world. We're looking at competitions from Australia across to France that we have to get our athletes to. So at the moment the focus is on trying to work out when those competitions are going to be. Each sport is setting its new deadlines. We're still waiting on information across nearly all our sports. So our athletes are just in training as hard as they possibly can in the circumstances that they are in, trying to keep fit and healthy as we wait to find out when those qualification dates are.
And that wraps up Trukai Sports, the weather report for the next 24 hours after these messages.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast in the New Guinea Islands region only. Showers and thunderstorms right across the region in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopora Bao, Kimbe and Buka.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Wednesday, the 10th of February 2021. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, pleasant viewing, be safe and good night.